Good evening, students. Good evening, students. Today we will discuss the mutual funds chapter. So the first class will discuss the organizational structure of mutual fund, how the mutual fund is structured, and what are the parties involved in floating a mutual fund. Okay, right. So it is a basic introduction or legal structure of the mutual funds, not relating to financials, etc. It is the organizational or legal structure of the mutual funds. Okay. So first look at the concept called as parties. Sponsor. The first party related to the mutual fund is called as a sponsor. Sponsor. This is tier one. Three-tier structure. Mutual fund is in India. The mutual fund works under three-tier structure. That is called as sponsor. And the second tier is called as a trust. Second tier is called as a trust. Tier one, tier two, and the third tier is called as an asset management company. Asset management company. Asset management company. Asset management company. What is the role of these three? What is the role of these three? What is the role of sponsor? What is the role of asset management company? And what is the trustee? Am I right? Now, look at this point. So he sponsor, he can be called as a promoter of the asset management company, or he is the person who wants to do the mutual fund business. He is the person who wants to do the mutual fund business. Even though we are seeing this word called as trust, Emma, it is not a non-commercial activity or it is not a charitable activity. It is a purely commercial activity initiated by this person called as sponsor. So mutual fund business is a purely a commercial activity initiated by a person called as sponsor. Okay, right. So that is what the point. So how the mutual funds will start? So first mutual fund has to apply to the SEBI for registration. Mutual fund will apply to the SEBI for registration. There is a mutual fund regulations in which the SEBI has prescribed some form called as Form A. Right. So we have to apply with this Form A. So first I'll show you the procedure. The first step is here we have to apply something called as Form A. Form A we have to apply with the SEBI. Form A we have to apply with the SEBI under the Mutual Fund Regulations 1996. So three important attachments to that form that indicates how the what are the parties are involved and what is the relationship with that. So to this Form A, three important attachments are there. Three important attachments. One is the point is draft trust deed. Draft trust deed. Draft trust deed. Okay. Second point is draft investment management agreement. Draft investment management agreement. Draft investment management agreement. Third one is draft custodian agreement. Draft custodian agreement. Draft custodian agreement. So these are the three documents to be attached to this application form filed with the SEBI. Those three attachment indicates how many parties are involved, what is that point. Right. Emma, this sponsor, what the sponsor will do is that sponsor will first establish a trust. Sponsor will first establish a trust. The first thing the sponsor will do is that sponsor will establish a trust under the Indian Trust Act. Under the Indian Trust Act 1882. That means, in addition to the provisions of SEBI regulations, you should learn the Indian Trust Act also. In order to establish a mutual fund, in addition to the SEBI regulations, you should have a thorough knowledge of the Indian Trust Act also. Okay. The first thing is we will establish a trust under the Indian Trust Act. Okay. Right. Next, so we will prepare a draft trust deed. So after the SEBI gives the approval, after the SEBI will give the approval, SEBI will give the approval. So before the SEBI gives the approval, SEBI will do some background checking. SEBI will do some background checking. Whose background checking? The background of the sponsor who wants to initiate this mutual fund activity. Right. So SEBI will do some background checking. SEBI will do some background checking. Okay, this is what the point. SEBI will do some background checking. So in this background checking, what are the aspects looked into by the SEBI? It is all given in the SEBI regulations. While doing this background checking, what are the aspects to be looked into by the SEBI? That is given in the SEBI regulations. I'm just giving a brief note of that. Okay, right. So first one is the reputation of the sponsor. What is the reputation of the sponsor? Second thing is what is his business? Whether he is engaged in financial services business or not. And the third one, the important point is net worth. What is the net worth of the sponsor? And what is the profit levels of the sponsor during the past 5 years? Emma, there are many criteria looked into by the SEBI before giving the approval. I'm just giving a gist of that because we are not learning SEBI mutual fund regulations. I'm teaching in the SFM only the basics of the mutual fund. Therefore, I'm not going deep into the mutual fund regulations. Okay, so that will be applicable for CS professional stage program. They will be learning the mutual fund regulations in detail. So as of now, I am giving only a gist of the mutual fund regulations: reputation, business, net worth, and profit level. Emma, these are the important points in the SEBI regulations which the SEBI will look into before granting approval to the sponsor. Okay, once the approval is sponsored, this trust is called as a registered. This trust is called as a registered. So sponsor established the trust. To that trust, SEBI is giving some identity. Emma, what is the difference between establishment and registration? Establishment refers to creation and registration refers to some identification. Identification in the eyes of law and in the work in the books of the government. Okay. So after sponsor establishing a trust, SEBI registers the trust. SEBI registers the trust. Once the SEBI registers the trust, this they have to execute a trust deed, appoint trustees. Once the draft trust deed is approved, the SEBI has to, the sponsor has to appoint trustees. The sponsor has to appoint trustees who will manage this organization called as trust. After getting the approval from SEBI, sponsors has to appoint trustees and they have to execute a trust deed. And they have to execute a trust deed. And they have to execute a trust deed. What are the activities to be done by the sponsor? They have to establish a trust, appoint trustees, execute, prepare a draft trust deed, get the approval from the SEBI, and thereafter register the trust deed. Register trust deed under Indian Registration Act 1908. Under Indian Registration Act 1908. Look at this point. This is one of the regulations which you should know. In addition to the Companies Act 2013 and SEBI Mutual Fund Regulations 1996, you should also have a thorough knowledge of the Indian Trust Act and also the Indian Registration Act 1908. Indian Registration Act 1908. This trust deed is registered. Organization is registered to the SEBI. Organization is registered to the SEBI. The document is registered with the Registration Act. Indian Trust Act. This is done under SEBI Mutual Fund Regulations. SEBI Mutual Fund Regulations. Under SEBI Mutual Fund Regulations will register the trust. First, what we have done, we have established a trust by following the provisions of the Indian Trust Act. Thereafter, we have registered the trust by following the SEBI Mutual Fund Regulations. Thereafter, we have registered the trust deed by following the Indian Registration Act 1908. Okay, that is what the point. Next, so this is the trust deed. Next, after that, asset management company. There is something called as investment management agreement. That investment management agreement, also called as IMA. Investment management agreement is between the trust and the asset management company. Investment management agreement is between the trust and the asset management company. Because this trust is called as a mutual fund. Most important point. This trust is called as a mutual fund. Most of the people, laymen, are confusing that this asset management company is the mutual fund. No, mutual fund is nothing but the trust, not the asset management company. Okay, so all the money given by the investors will be in the name of the trust only. The trust is holding. They are simply managing. They are simply managing the funds. Asset management company. This trust is called as a mutual fund. And there is an agreement between the trust and the asset management company. That is called as investment management agreement. That is called as investment management agreement. Okay, that is the point. Next, so what happens is that after this will be approved, this has to be approved. Either the sponsor will appoint the asset management company. Either the sponsor will appoint the asset management company, or the sponsor will give authorization to the trust, and the trust will appoint the asset management company. Anything is possible, ma. Either the sponsor himself can appoint the asset management company, or the sponsor can give an authorization to the trust. Trust can appoint the asset management company. And this asset management company should also be approved by the SEBI. And this asset management company should also be approved by the SEBI. And this should be like a limited liability company. This should be like a limited liability company. Limited liability company. Limited liability company. Emma, sponsor is a body corporate. 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 Mutual fund is a trust. Mutual fund is a trust. Three different types of legal organizations. Asset management is a company. Asset management company, as the name itself suggests, limited liability company. Emma, this is what the point. This asset management company should also be approved by SEBI. Okay, right. So once this asset management company is approved, thereafter what they will do? Emma, all organizations has been established. All organizations has been established. Sponsor is there, trust is established, and the trust is registered. Asset management company is appointed and approved by the SEBI. Sorry, approved and appointed. Only after SEBI gives the approval, you have to appoint asset management company. Approval first, appointment next. Approval first, appointment next. Only after SEBI giving the approval to a particular asset management company, either the sponsor or the trust can appoint the asset management company. So this is all about legal approvals. This is all about legal approvals. Okay, ma? Right. Right. This is all about legal approvals. After getting the legal approvals, how the mechanism flows, how the transaction mechanism flows. Look at this point. How the transaction mechanism flows. This sponsor will be there. This sponsor will be there, and a trust, and a trust, and a asset management company. Asset management company. This asset management company will float a scheme. This asset management company will prepare the scheme. This is the first act. After getting all the legal approvals, the first stage is completed. We got all the legal approvals. We got all the legal approvals. Then comes is the operational activities. How the operations will go on. We got all the regulatory licenses, legal approvals, etc. Then how the operations will go on. So asset management company, step one, they will prepare the scheme. They will prepare the scheme. They will prepare the scheme. So that scheme contains objectives. What they want to achieve. What they want to achieve. Whether they want to achieve capital protection or income growth or regular income or liquidity, whatever it is, what they want to achieve. Because based on the investor's objectives. If I am a retired person, I want the regular income. If I'm an youngster, I'm getting a salary, I don't want the regular income. I want the capital appreciation in the long term. Okay. So these are maybe the, if I'm a corporate, I'm sitting with a lot of surplus cash, I want the liquidity is my object. Three investors are there. I'm a retired employee, I'm an investor, my investment objective is regular income. I'm an youngster, recently entered the profession, recently I have joined the job, I'm getting a salary from the job, I don't want regular income, but I want my capital or assets to grow in the long term. Or I am a corporate, I am having surplus cash, which I don't want to invest right now because the economic conditions is not good, economy is in recession, I don't want to invest right now. Maybe for the next 3 months or 6 months, I want to keep the idle cash. Rather than keeping the money in the bank idle cash, I can invest in money market instruments or liquid instruments. So therefore, the investor object is liquidity. These are the three different types of investors. Emma, what are the three different types of investors? A retired person wants the regular income, an youngster wants the capital appreciation, a corporate wants the liquidity. By looking at the various objectives of the investors, various financial objectives of the investment. So scheme is designed to meet a particular investment objective. Emma, with one scheme, you cannot meet all the objectives. One scheme cannot meet all the financial objectives of the investors. One size does not fit all. It is a management concept. One size does not fit all. One size does not fit all. It is a management concept. In a similar fashion, one scheme cannot meet the investment or financial objectives of all kinds of investors. We need to prepare different kinds of schemes to meet the financial objectives of different kinds of investors. For a retired person, one kind of scheme. For an youngsters, one kind of scheme. And for corporates, one kind of scheme. These are I have given the examples of investors based on their personal situation. So different schemes has to be floated to meet the different financial objectives of different kinds of investors. Okay, right? They will prepare the scheme. Example: capital appreciation, long-term capital growth. They don't get dividend. They don't want to invest in stocks which will pay huge dividend. They want to invest in stocks whose share price will appreciate in the long run. So this scheme wants to invest in companies whose share price will increase, whose share price will appreciate in the long run. They are not looking at the day-to-day income or yearly income. Okay, capital appreciation or long-term growth. long-term growth, long-term growth. Okay, this is their scheme. After preparing the scheme, they will submit the scheme to this a trust. They will submit the scheme to the trustees, and the trust will approve the scheme. Trust will approve the scheme, and the trust will approve the scheme. Once the trust approves the scheme, third scheme, this scheme is filed with the SEBI. This scheme is filed with the SEBI. This approved scheme and the offer document, draft offer document, is filed with the SEBI. Once we got the approval, thereafter the offer document is issued to the investors, ultimate investors, ultimate investors. This offer document is issued. What is issued? This offer document is issued. Okay, this offer document is issued. Now, if they want to purchase the units of this fund, if the investors wants to purchase the units of the scheme, so investors are purchasing the units of the scheme. What do you mean by investors purchasing the units of the scheme? Investors purchasing the units of this trust. Investors wants to purchase the units of this trust. Purchase the units of this trust. Take this trust like a company. Example, take a company, and investor wants to purchase the shares in that company. Okay, assume that the trust is a company and the investor wants to purchase the shares of that company. So therefore, this investor wants to purchase the units of the trust. What happens is that this investors will submit an application form to somebody called as registrar and transfer agent, RTA, registrar and transfer agent, registrar and transfer agent. Okay, registrar and transfer agent, and they will the application form. Along with the application form, they will give the money. Along with the application form, they will give the money. And next, this SEBI, this AMC will give an instruction to the registrar and transfer agent. AMC will give an instruction to the registrar and transfer agent regarding which company shares to be purchased with the investors' money. Investors has given money. Do you understand? Investors has given money. With that money, which company shares to be purchased? That will be instructed by the AMC. AMC will do the intellectual activity of analyzing the company and deciding which company to invest. RTA will do the clerical activity of actually collecting the money in investing. Do you understand? AMC's role is intellectual role. They will analyze the companies and they will determine which companies to invest. And this role is intellectual. This role is intellectual role. This role is intellectual role. And this role is a clerical kind of thing. They will simply execute the instructions. Okay, they will design the plan and they will execute the plan. Operational activities. Okay, right. So thereafter, this registrar and transfer agent will approach the depository participant. Depository participant. Okay, wherein they want to purchase the shares. Okay, they want to purchase the shares. These shares will be allotted. Shares will be allotted. So the shares will be given, and the shares. Depository participants, they will not give the shares. Depository participants, they will give the money. Whatever the investors' money is there, that will be transferred to the depository participants. And the depository participant will issue share certificates to somebody called as custodian. To somebody called as custodian. Okay, so physical share certificates, shares or securities, shares or securities. This person is in possession of the assets, possession of assets. But whatever is the securities given by the depositor to the custodian is possessing. But who is the legal owner of the assets? Legal owner of the assets is nothing but our trustee. Legal owner of the assets. So to this assets, possession of the assets, the legal owner is called trustee. The legal owner is called trustee. Okay, the trustee's balance sheet. If you prepare a balance sheet for the trustee, the shares will appear in this balance sheet. Whose balance sheet? Balance sheet of trust or balance sheet of mutual fund. Balance sheet of trust or balance sheet of mutual funds. The shares will be reflected in this balance sheet. And whatever the units issued to this person, and the RTA will issue units to this person. And this units is nothing but liability in the balance sheet of the trustee. Do you understand? Units issued by the RTA will appear in the liability side of the trust. Will appear in the liability side of the trust. Units will appear in the liability side of the trust or units. So the custodian, there will be an agreement. We have discussed it, right? Draft custodian agreement. The draft custodian agreement is these points. Draft custodian agreement. draft custodian agreement. So that means that custodian agreement will be in between the trust and the custodian. Custodian agreement will be in between the trust and the custodian. Okay, that means this trust will give authorization to the custodian to keep the securities in the name of the trust. The securities are legally in the name of the trust, but they are physically held in the form of possession, physically held in the hands of the custodian. That means the trust gives authorization to the custodian to receive securities from the depository participants, and they are simply holding. Who is the legal owner of the securities? Trust is the legal owner of the securities. Legal owner is the trust. Legal owner is the trust. And who is the beneficial owner? Beneficial owner. Who is the beneficial owner? Investors. Ultimately, if the share price appreciates or depreciates, who will be benefited? Benefited by this investor only. Benefited by this investor only. Then what is the role of the trust? The role of the trust is to ensure that this asset management company carefully invests this investors' hard-earned money. The role of the trustee is to ensure that the asset management company, which is a primarily commercial entity. Asset management company is a commercial entity. So therefore, the trustee's object is to ensure that the asset management company diligently invests the investors' money. Carefully invest the investors' money. Okay, that is what the point. Okay, so this money diligence that will be monitored by this trust. That is the role of the trust. That is the role of the trust. Okay, so legal owner is the trust and beneficial owner is the investor. And what is the benefit for this asset management company? Sorry, if the share price appreciates, the investors will be benefited. If the share price depreciates, the investor will incur loss. If the shares pay dividend, that will go to the investors. If everything is going to the investors, what is the benefit to the asset management company? So on this money, they will charge some fees called as assets under management fees, AUM fees. Based on this money, they will charge some fees. Investment management fees. Investment for their knowledge or intellect. For their knowledge or intellect, they will charge that fee. If you pass a CA or MBA finance or a CFA, you will be the employee of this asset management company. Be clear. You will be the employee of this asset management company. If you pass the CS company secretary, you will be the employee either in the custodian or in the RTA. You will be the employee either in the custodian or the RTA, where you have to look into after the legal aspects. If you pass the CA or MBA finance or a CFA, if you have the financial knowledge, you will be the employee of the asset management company. You will be the employee of the asset management company. There comes is the real skill of analyzing the company. There comes is the real skill of analyzing the company. Okay, so these people will analyze the companies and they will invest and they will charge that fee. Am I right? That is the point is there. And next, what is the advantage of this sponsor then? Why this sponsor has created all these things? In this asset management company, sponsor will be holding 40% shares. 40% shares. Sponsor is holding 40% shares. And 40% shares will be held by the sponsor. So therefore, if you prepare a balance sheet for this asset management company or profit and loss account for this asset management company, whatever is the fee collected, that will be the fee of the profit and loss account of the asset management company. Out of that, 40% will go to the trustees, will go to the sponsor. Along with the sponsor, any other person can also become a shareholder in the asset management. And the fees will go to this other person also. But you understand what is the object of the sponsor? Sponsor has invested 40% in asset management company. Therefore, he will get 40% of the shares of the asset management company. Okay, right. The object of creating the asset management company is to ensure that the sponsor will not misutilize this money, will not misutilize this investors' money, and this asset management company will not be reckless in investing the money. So that is the reason trustee is there. Trustee's role is to ensure that the sponsor is not manipulating the investors and the asset management company is not reckless in investing. So to protect the investors, the trustee is there. To protect the investors, trustee is there. Okay. But this is what the point. Okay. So custodian and the asset management company and the sponsor, these are the roles. Asset management company will float the different schemes. Based on that investors will invest. So trustee is the legal owner of the properties and investors is the beneficial owners and possession is with the custodian. possession is with the custodian. This is the brief background of how the mutual funds are structured, how the mutual funds are organized. You got the point. Asset management companies fees. After passing CA or CFA, you are going to be an employee in the asset management company, analyzing where to invest, like which companies to invest, etc. Okay, right. That's it. In the next class, we'll discuss about the financial aspects. What is the benefit to the investors? What is the advantage of the investors by investing in mutual funds? What is the drawbacks of investing in mutual funds? What are the rights to the investors? And what are the how the limitations of investing in mutual funds? All those things, financial aspects, we'll discuss in the next class. For the time being, just I have shown the legal structure and the relationship between the different parties involved in the mutual fund. Okay, ma? So we'll discuss the next class remaining aspects.